Hey, welcome back to MobilityWOD. We're working on the project today. We want to do, we're here at CrossFit Vitality in North Carolina, just wrapped up a seminar, working with one of the talented coaches here, and we're talking about how to solve this problem with one of our athletes, and we're going to do a little case study on the spot here. And one of the dirty secrets of being a good physio coach is to treat what you find. If you're a strength coach, where do you start? Where do you start to kind of triage the problems that you're seeing in your gym? You have a really good athlete or a really bad athlete comes in, treat and address what the problem is. You know, there's probably a whole host of things, but let's just kind of start where we go. So tell us what's going on with you.
I have a lot of trouble in the bottom of my squat, just a lot of outer hip tension, and I've been rolling with the foam roller, trying to find some new things to do. I just can't get over that hump of having that outer hip tension.
So you say outer hip tension, and you're also trying, come a little closer, can you get us?
Yep.
But also trying to, you said you're trying to be able to squat with your hips narrower, is that right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get my stance in, because I tend to get really wide when I'm in the low part of my stance, and I just can't bring them in.
Okay, so let's see what it looks like. So first thing is test-retest. Let's go ahead and see where you feel like you're having a hard time.
Right there.
So this athlete's doing a big reversal in the bottom. You saw that. His ankle's in a good position, knee's in a good position. So flip on your back and see if we can make sense of what it is we're seeing. Right? And what's your squat? How much you squat?
345.
345. What's your Fran's on? Really fast. Just say really fast. 313. That's really fast. Well, that's really funny because mine's 312. So take a look at this. Relax for me. So one of the things we want to look at is just the narrow position of the hip. This is an absolute. He's just run into a wall here. And it's literally, he comes on tension and then runs into a hard wall. It should be at least to about 120, 130 degrees, no problem. So anything that happens past that, he's got to resist their force here. You can tell that the hip has come completely off the ground. That hip should be stuck in the socket. If I just come with a little bit of medial excursion, that hip literally starts dragging his pelvis towards the midline. I should get to his knee almost over at least to the other side of the socket. And so you can see that he starts to run in. And what's happening now is at this end range, you see how much energy transfer? So he's doing a beautiful job trying to mimic or trying to limit the amount of kind of energy transfer from hip to back. But that's a big deal. When we look at the rotation in this kind of squatting position, in a narrow squat, he literally has 5 degrees of external rotation, and he has about 10 degrees or 7 degrees of internal rotation. So out of 100, 135 degrees, this guy's got about, let's be nice, 17.5 degrees. So a little bit restricted. So what do you do about that, right? So treat what you find. Come on over. We've recently put this up on the hip. The first piece we're going to go is load that hip up. Let's get you to do it. So go ahead and listen. We talked about this before. As much tension. Now we got the big, thick blue muscle driver band on here. Yeah, go straight as far as you can. Get as much loaded as you can. So a couple things. So see if you can get that. So where you can start with the hip flexed. And literally all we're doing is getting into the position of restriction and trying to pull that band back. He's probably got 150 pounds of band tension here, and he can oscillate in. If he feels impinged or impingement, then I need to do what? I need to rotate laterally and let that band distract laterally. But in this position, he's really biasing on trying to get that hip to that posterior capsule, and then he's just oscillating over, which is exactly that position where he was tight. So now as he kind of sits over, he's being able to keep the hip loaded. He's got approximation, which is like a loaded hip joint, and then with the distraction, keeping the band or trying to get that hip going where he goes. He can contract, relax there, make sure it's not a muscular component, but stay under tension there. Right? Go ahead, contract, get tight, and then release, go a little further, kind of keep winding over, good. And then keep taking over, just oscillate in and out of the different rays. So kind of find those different corners. Okay, so then, let's go ahead and stand up and do it with the legs straight. So get that leg as straight as you can, much tension you can, so you're just hanging on it. And then I want to put that leg up, and I'm just going to floss back and forth. So hit that corner, and you can keep the leg straight for me. Don't even floss now, just press into those different corners of your hip, back and forth, using the band. So now he's got probably about 180 pounds of band tension. We did this earlier. This is an enormous amount of band tension, which really pulls that hip to the back of the socket and allows him to get good hip flexion. You can see this is exactly what happens in his squat. When he misses range, you can even see the well-developed kind of low back erectors that are used to kind of having to buffer that. That's one of the tells that is probably his femur is running in. He's doing a good job mechanically unimpinging himself. His motor control is good. He stabilizes him. He just needs some capsular help. So really spin it out. Minimum dose, 2 to 3 minutes per side. And now we've done a single, and then also leg straight, which really challenges the tissues a little differently. And then let's go ahead and do the Donnie Thompson stretch. So yesterday, working with Donnie Thompson, we call this the Donnie Thompson super decapsule stretch. This is what the movement he does before he smashes world records. Let's go ahead and get as much distraction on that hip as you can. Go turn sideways, just like we did earlier in insert. And get your knee straight down. And then because it's a big load, I'm going to just give him a little extra help here so his knee doesn't slide. Can you get a little bit more on there? There we go. Now that's a ton of distraction. And then he can internally rotate, externally rotate. You feel that, don't you?
Yeah.
And he wants to push that around, push that in a deeper flexion. Right? And come on up. There you go. Oscillate in and out, contract, relax. Get as much of that weight going. Should feel like alien is popping out your femur in the back. You feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to remove my leg. Let's dismount. Whew. Don't get yourself swept. Right? Go ahead and come on out of that. Takes big band tensions to change that hip capsule. This guy's a strong guy. And in spite of this, he's still pulling out a 3:13 fan. Is that what it said? 1 second. 1 second slower than mine. All right, now let's go ahead and watch a squat again. See if you notice the difference. Can you squat narrow and what happens?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it feels a lot better. A lot.
Now let's flip you on your back and let's see what happens. You look at his correlates or his passing range, just the hip you just did.
Yeah.
Right? Remember we saw we blocked before, and now we've got hip range all the way up to here. His external rotation improves, his internal rotation improves. You see the difference? Yeah. And then I can get that hip actually over towards the midline without changing. And that took, what, 5 minutes? Yeah. So here's an athlete who's going to have to do this a few more times. Maybe this is totally appropriate for you to do before you squat heavy kind of things. We need to worry that tissue. Think of your hip capsule like a paper clip, and you're just going to keep banging it, and then reinforce it with good movement. That's what's up. Dude, you can get a better friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.